Hello, welcome, Salam, Achaemenid, Iran, a land with a history spanning over 5,000 years. Once the heart of great empires, the crossroads of civilizations, and home to poets and mystics whose names have transcended all borders. But Iran is not just history. Iran is people, with kind eyes and generous hands, hospitality that runs in their blood, and smiles on their lips, even on the hardest days. Welcome to Iran, a civilization as old as history, a podcast where we go beyond the news headlines and stereotypical images, and journey deep into this ancient land. From Persepolis and the Shahnameh, to the taste of Fezenjan stew and the scent of Bahar Naranj, from the Lut Desert to the Hyrcanian forests. I'm Sarah, and in this episode, I'll take you on an unforgettable journey to the heart of Iranian civilization, a journey that might change your perspective on this land forever. Welcome to Iran, a land whose name might, for many, bring to mind political news and television images, but whose truth is something far beyond that. Iran is a civilization with over 5,000 years of written history. It's a place where East and West meet, and where desert and sea embrace. Imagine you're sitting in an airplane, looking down from the window. What you see is a land spanning 1,645,000 square kilometers. A country that, if you place it on a map of Europe, would have the holy city of Mashhad falling on Budapest, Tehran taking the place of Venice, and Shiraz resting above Naples. This vastness isn't just geographical. It's the vastness of history and culture. The ancient name of this land was Persia, a term used by the Greeks, but the people themselves call it Iran, a word sharing its root with Aryan. Today, 88,500,000 people live here, a mosaic of different ethnic groups, 66% Persian, 25% Azeri, 5% Kurd, and the rest a mix of Arab, Turkmen, and Armenian, each with their own language, clothing, and music, forming a piece of this grand puzzle. But before anything else, an important point: Iranians are not Arabs, and they can become upset if mistakenly called one. They speak Persian, or Farsi, a language written with the Arabic alphabet but with a completely different root. Now, let's journey through time, back to millennia ago, when the first human settlements formed on the shores of the Caspian Sea. Scientists believe this region was one of the few places on Earth that survived the Ice Age, and it was here that early humans began farming and raising animals. From that time to today, this land has experienced countless ups and downs. The Achaemenid Empire with the glory of Persepolis, the Parthians and Sassanids with their rich legacy, the Arab conquest and the arrival of Islam in the 7th century AD. But here's the astonishing part. While accepting Islam, Iranians preserved their identity. They became Muslim, but they remained Persian. So powerful was Iranian culture that it ultimately conquered its conquerors. During the Islamic Golden Age, Iranians were pioneers of science and philosophy. Names like Farabi, Avicenna, al-Biruni, Rhazes, and Khayyam shine not only in Iran's history but in the history of all human civilization. In literature, Ferdowsi kept Iranian identity alive with his epic, the Shahnameh, while Sadi, Hafez, and Rumi transcended geographical borders with their poetry. In the 17th century AD, during the Safavid era, the city of Isfahan reached its zenith of glory. Naqshi Jahan Square, Sheikh Lotfallah Mosque, the historic bridges over the Zayanda River. The city is so beautiful that Iranians call it half the world. Even today, it's the most popular destination for honeymooning couples. Chehel Sotown Palace, with its pool, gardens, and wooden columns, recalls an era when Iran was the capital of one of the world's greatest empires. The murals inside depict scenes of both celebration and battle, the king in combat with Uzbeks and Ottomans, or receiving Indian dignitaries. But Iran's history is not just glory. It also holds tragedy. In a corner of Isfahan, there's a cemetery for 400,000 martyrs of the Iran-Iraq War. Here you see the young faces of those who lost their lives between 1980 and 1989. Even now, families gather by the graves of their loved ones, sharing meals and keeping their memories alive. This is a generation bearing the scars of war, much like the generation marked by Vietnam in America. In Tehran, the Milad Tower, standing at 435 meters, is the 6th tallest tower in the world and a symbol of modern Iran. Its initial design dates back to the 1970s, created by an American urban planner, but the 1979 revolution halted its construction until it was finally completed years later. The Islamic Revolution of Iran in February 1979, led by Ayatollah Khomeini, was a turning point in contemporary history. The Islamic Republic was established with the vote of 98% of the people. It's a unique structure where religion and politics are intertwined. The supreme leader is the highest authority, while the president is elected by direct popular vote. Since 1989, Ayatollah Khamenei has been the leader of Iran. In 2024, Masoud Pezeshkian was elected as president. Iran's political system is complex. The parliament passes laws, but the Guardian Council must approve them. The Expediency Discernment Council arbitrates disputes between the parliament and the Guardian Council. The Assembly of Experts, composed of 88 clerics, is responsible for selecting and overseeing the leader. Iran's economy is built on oil and gas. With proven oil reserves of 158 billion barrels, it holds the world's fourth largest reserve. Its gas reserves, at 32 trillion cubic meters, are the second largest globally. But that's not the whole story. Copper mines hold 210 billion tons of reserves, and zinc reserves are 800 million tons, immense wealth lying dormant in the heart of the desert. Agriculture also plays a significant role. Over 52 million hectares are arable, with 18 million hectares under cultivation. 90% of the country's food needs are produced domestically. But perhaps Iran's most important asset is its people. About two-thirds of the population is under 30 years old, a young and educated generation. Iran has 2,515 universities and higher education institutions, with 440,000 students enrolled. The literacy rate is 90%. Post-revolution, Iranian cinema has gained international acclaim. Films with ethical and humanistic themes have won prestigious global awards. Iranian women also have a prominent presence in culture and arts, including literature, visual arts, cinema, and music. In sports, Iran's volleyball has risen to the world's top tier, with the national team regularly competing internationally. The women's futsal team has also participated in World Cups. Foreign visitors to Iran are often astonished by one thing: Iranian hospitality. Rick Steves, the famous travel guide author, said, "I went to Iran with fear, but I left with the realization that our similarities are greater than our differences." He formed a deep friendship with his Iranian guide, Saeed. Later, Saeed wrote in an email, "We have differences, but that doesn't mean changing one another. We can respect each other." Iran's nature is equally astonishing. From the Caspian Sea, lying 28 meters below sea level, to Mount Damavand, towering at 5,671 meters. From the Lut Desert, with ground temperatures reaching 70 degrees Celsius, to the lush green forests of the north. From wetlands covering 483,000 hectares to mysterious caves, the Qanats, an engineering masterpiece of ancient Iran, stretch over 40,000 kilometers, channeling water from mountains to plains. Ancient dams still stand firm after thousands of years. And then, there's the Persian table. A flavor you won't forget. Saffron ice cream with rosewater and pistachios, kebabs with saffron rice, colorful stews, and fresh bread straight from the oven. Food in Iran isn't just for eating, it's a part of the culture and hospitality. Today, Iran plays an active role internationally. It became a full member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in 2023 and joined BRICS in 2024. A country sharing borders with 15 neighbors, it has always been a bridge between East and West. If you travel to Iran, walk through the streets of Tehran, Isfahan, Shiraz, and Tabriz, you'll encounter faces, each with a story to tell. Stories of 2,500 years of civilization, of war and peace, of tradition and modernity. And in the end, you'll realize that Iran is more than just a country, it's a feeling. A feeling that Rick Steves described like this: in Iran, the easiest way to get a smile was to tell people where we were from. In closing, perhaps it's best to bid farewell with the words of Iranians themselves, "Peace be upon you." The very phrase Rick Steves carried with him as a souvenir from his journey to Iran. And this was not the end of our journey through Iran. It was only the beginning of getting to know a land that still has so many untold stories. Iran cannot be summarized in one podcast. Iran must be seen. must be touched, must be smelled, walking through the alleyways of Isfahan, sitting by a kursi in a village home, drinking mint tea, smiling with someone you've just met, and realizing that hospitality in this land is not just a word, it's a culture. If this episode felt fresh and meaningful to you, I'd be honored if you subscribed to the podcast and shared it with your friends. Iran has countless untold stories, and in future episodes, we'll explore more of them together. Until next time, may the Lord of History and Culture keep you happy and proud. Coda Hafez.